Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome along to your Monday night fix of sim racing here on Twitch, and it can mean only one thing. That's right, it is SOP back on Race Room in association with MOZA Racing and Speedscents. We bring you the Praga Cup opening round here at Silverstone, and an extra special treat as well. Joining us in the commentary box, one of the founding fathers of SOP. Hasn't been with us for a while, but he is this evening, and hopefully for many more over the seasons. It's the one and only Mr. Bailey Smith. How we doing, Bailey?
John, how are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Extremely excited for the event that we have ahead of us. We've got Brands Hatch Stowe, Silverstone National, another trip to Brands Hatch, and Donington, Simon and his Donington, but we're opening this evening at one of your personal favourites, I know. Silverstone. You must be chomping at the bit. The strength of field we've got and the track we've got ahead of us tonight, Bailey. It's, yeah, we're in for a good one.
We are, and these Pragas are a bit of a handful to drive. We've been watching practice just before jumping on the stream, and these guys have got a lot of skill to keep these cars on track, but they're going to provide some entertaining action throughout the season and throughout this race, of course.
Indeed, yeah, at Silverstone this evening, just absolutely monumental is not the word I'm looking for. Iconic racetrack, of course. Absolutely, up at the front, in the Pragas. Similar times to the GT3 cars, 1:56.1 at the minute, taking pole position, 2/10 ahead. Luke Southall is a Luciano Whitfit. He himself is almost a second ahead of Stratemans, who of course won the Race Room F4 Championship. Some speedy drivers. We've got Zabdir and Krivy as well. There is Schubeck, Kowalewski, we know from our own competition here at Race Room. There's the rest of it catching up. There's Marcus Juzma. We've got Walring, Van Roon, James Rawling, Sam Shelton, one Simon Bagas, who's just dropped to 15th. Because Sam Stretton, I believe, just went quicker. Jack Gore. Oh yeah, Janis Kovacs. Baukenhauer. Withers, Jacobs, Depril. Malan and Bortoli. 22. Oh, and there we go. Two names very similar. Not similar. What's the word I'm looking for?
Closely matched.
No, Peter Brett and Leon Seeley. Very familiar. Oh, goodness me. Very familiar to the ACC drivers. Messrs Brett and Seeley. Ian Egan allegedly making an appearance this evening as well. So that would be, it's been quite the transition, Bailey, to go from ACC on console to see so many drivers switching from console to PC, and now we see them switch from ACC to Race Room as well. The sim racing it never ends here at SOP, but
yeah, I mean, I jumped on Race Room for the first time, and I mean, it's an amazing game, and I think it's just so fun because you're struggling the whole time. You got to learn a lot, jumping from ACC to this, and I think, like I said earlier, like the drivers going to show their skill today driving these Pragas because they're a handful to drive. But once you get them in the groove, once you get going, that's when the fun starts to kick in.
yeah, it really does. Oh, that was stuck there. Southall just restarting his lap. Excuse me. Yeah, as you say, Race Room, it certainly is a slightly different proposition. You definitely learn a lot about how to brake properly. Racing on Race Room, that is for absolutely sure. One thing I did wonder, Bailey, with your knowledge of the track, which circuit is it they're racing tonight? Which iteration of Silverstone?
The GP circuit.
The GP, it is the GP circuit.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
And I believe they start on the Hamilton Straight, whereas in real life they're starting on the old pit straight. So that's just something, something that Race Room has done. Another thing to note.
ACC. Oh.
Yeah, same as ACC. Well, no, because on ACC they start on the old pit straight in the game and in real life, but in Prague,
we'd cut
on Race Room. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
But I was going to say the one thing we should note is with Race Room we don't get to have all the cars on the track for qualifying, do we?
That is correct. It is closed qualifying. So the drivers do get the track all to themselves, no one to interrupt them. I'm seeing a little bit of stuttering at this end. Hopefully that's okay at everyone else's end. Leon already setting a time up into 16th. Bagas down to 17th. Luke Southall, he's done with qualifying. It's only a 10-minute qualifying session. It is an interesting format we've got for this evening. There was 30 entrants signed up. Whitvet and Schubeck battling for the top spots, but it's Southall that takes top spot, and Whitvet sneaks in there. 2.5 tenths down within a second. Lucas Schubeck and Marius Zabdir. Victor Stratemans in 5th position there. 1.1 seconds off. Cravey in 6th, Emmanuel Lopez in 7th, Marcus Juzma and Jacek Kowalewski are going to start on row 4 actually for Marcus. Jacek will be on row 5 with James Rollins in 9th and 10th, Lucas Wallering and Frank Van Roon. On row number 6, Janis Kovacs and Maxim Baukenhout, 13th and 14th, solid Belgian names. Sam Shelton, Jack Gore, Leon Seeley and Simon Bagas, 15th through 17th. There is a quick warm-up. So we'll pop that one on. It's a high-speed circuit. Bailey, you know this one well because you did a bit of Formula 1 back in the day. It's quite the transition to go from Formula 1 to GT3. A lot of these drivers are now going from GT3 back to something akin to a Formula 1 car because the downforce that these cars have and the extra braking that gives them is pretty incredible. Yeah,
do you know what? You pick up some... Well, I carried some bad habits over from F1, the F1 game to ATC. I can't name them all, but you're thinking like things like trail braking doesn't always work in F1. It's more braking a straight line, let the car do the work with the aero. Whereas with GT cars, you're sort of resting the car the whole time. It's heavy. It's a big heavy lump. And then you've got these guys going from GT cars to these now, and the Pragas are, like you said, not obviously they're not F1 cars, but they are of that like LMP style, and they're just little rockets basically, little weapons for the track.
Yeah, they really are, and with rockets usually comes fireworks, and yeah, no fireworks because the cars are all invisible at the moment. But it is round 1 of the Praga UK Championship in association with both MOZA Racing and Speedscents. We do have some incredible prizes up for grabs, which we haven't even touched on yet. We will get to those. Oh yeah, after race number 1. As I mentioned as well, interesting format. We haven't even gone over that yet. My apologies. So race number 1, we did start. Race number 1 will be a 15-minute race. That has just been decided by qualifying. The top 15 from race number 1 will be reversed, and the rest of the grid behind them will stay in their finishing positions, and that will give us the start lineup for race number 2. So yeah, promises to be an interesting one. 24 cars on the start. It's Luke Southall is going to lead the way. Luciano Whitford in second. Schubeck and Zabdir close in behind. Straightmans could get himself a good run into the first turn. It's the green lights and we're away for the first 15 minutes. All the cars filtering over to the left hand side very quickly. Up at the front, down at the rear of the field though, not so much then. Peter Brett right down at the back of the pack, almost making contact, or almost getting caught up in contact there. James Rollins did get caught up in contact. He's right down at the back of the field then. Southall Whitford trying to break away from the rest of the field, but Schubeck and Zabdir hanging right in there. In fact, 3 wide as they come into turn number 4 onto the Wellington straight. Whitford up into third place. Schubeck are down into third place, sorry. Zabdir now up into second. Schubeck in third. Straightmans now in fifth. Lopez in fifth. We're not getting the best helicam there. We'll go try and get some better view of the action. Baggis making his way up a position as well. Peter Brett up and down the positions. He's involved in some battle in there just before. This is through Luffield, I believe. Just coming to the GT3 pit straight, and that is a whole lot of slipstream he's given up there. And Peter Brett, can't see him for the wall there. He's going right round the outside of turn number 1. That's himself and Leon Seeley that are battling trading positions there. And it is Leon that's held on to that position then. So he was actually fending off Brett, so the timing boards didn't fully update there. Southall then showing a clean pair of heels now to the rest of the field. Zabdir. And now he's got himself ahead of Whitvet Bailey. He's got a strong train behind him, but Zabdir got the jump on Whitvet and he is hanging on in there while Southall runs up the road.
My eyes yet, John?
That's what's on the bud.
Can I open my eyes yet? Because that was tight at the start. I was looking. Luke did a really good job to defend straight away. Defending, that just shows how competitive these guys are. Thick setups have really mixed up the pack. These are all through skill. I think is that third place spinning around.
That is a big contact then. Zabdir.
Yeah, that was a
from
top
second
runner, right?
place.
Yeah, second.
Oh, and he spun again, trying to get moving. Wow, one of the championship contenders, surely, given that he qualified in the top 3 at race number 1. Simon Baggis down at the back of the field. Baukenhout down at the back of the field as well. But that is, who else is that dropping down the order? It's completely changing there. It's hard for the telemetry to actually keep up, and we're going to try and keep up as well. Peter Brett up to 13th position. Leon Seeley's up into 10th, but it's still Southall in first. Whitfit then back into second place. Schubeck in third. It's Straightmans in fourth place. Lopez fifth. Dewsma in sixth. Cravey in sixth position. Kovacs, Wallering, and Leon Seeley rounding out the top 10. Still very close down the order as well, with James Rollins looking to make a recovery drive as well after some turn 1, lap 1 ailments. Himself and Van Roon getting involved there. Withers just ahead of them, and I believe it's DePrill who is no spoiler cam. There's what we're looking for. Yeah, so DePrill, he is being chased then by Rollins, Van Roon, Withers, Kowaleski, Bortoli in fact as well. We can see just how close he's getting to the drive. Simon Baggis picking up a slow down penalty. Right him on that curb, and that's another car tumbling down the order. That is Goer this time. Jack Goer finds himself. Oh no, he is moving again. No, oh, there's someone else spinning. There is another spinner, and I'm struggling to keep up everything that's going on here. But that's another car that spun. No yellow flags for me to indicate. What's that, Sam Shelton? Nope, he is definitely moving. Andy Withers is moving as well, not as quickly as he was. Oh, and there's the 77 car down as well.
I tell you what, John, these cars I said are a handful, and they will spin around if you have just that one extra percentage of throttle too much. The car doesn't like it, and it goes. And yeah, no traction control on these.
Yeah, Peter Brett picking himself up a slowdown penalty in 12th position then, and he is closing in on Malam just ahead of him. So he doesn't want to, pick up too many penalties. Out at the front is getting pretty spread out though. Luke Southall's doing exactly what he needs to do here in round number 1. Already 1.8 seconds up the road. Whitvet in second place. Schubeck in third, then Straightman's in fourth. Gore is just getting past Shelton. In fact, I think Shelton's had an incident then. He is off track. Wow, these cars really... I've got a good friend that was going to be in this league, and he did say these cars were a full handful. Bailey's on board with that sentiment. The drivers certainly displaying that this evening. The slightest extra throttle input, and away they go. Veal Creevy as well. Let's see if we can actually get a shot of what's going on there. He's going for an overtake on Marcus Juzma. Makes that one...
Whoa.
Very nicely indeed. That is not the easiest corner to get an overtake there done, Bailey, but that was beautifully done.
Yeah, both drivers need to have respect for each other going through there. Both trying to hang on to their position, one trying to make a position, one trying not to lose their position. But that is a perfect example of clean racing, and yeah, good little battle between the two there.
It is indeed, and there's still battles going on right through the field. Kowaleski. He's got himself within 2/10 of Withers at the moment. So Buchenhout, he dropped down the order in lap number 1, and Zabdir as well, of course. We saw drop down the order. I think we've just missed an overtake into Club. Oh, he thought about it there. Zabdir hangs on to 18th. He's all over the back of Bortoli. Withers just ahead of them. In fact, Enum appears to be behind. Oh no, they are still chasing. So Zabdir then. Still in 17th. There's Cravey getting another move done. So that, oh sorry, no, that's just confirmation that he got the move done on Juzma. So that's him back up to 6th position. Frank Van Roon picking up a penalty. Depril closing in. So too Andy Withers closing in on Kowaleski ahead. Buchenhout and Frank Van Roon though. Oh, and there's another car sideways. Is that Buchenhout? It is indeed. The Belgian driver finds himself the wrong way round. And that was that Chapel? No, it was Village, sorry. That was on the way out to entry. So yeah, he's back down to 23rd. It's hard to tell from some of these angles sometimes. They're certainly different to what I'm used to on ACC. Who was looking at their Streitemans?
Yeah, I was going to say jump on board with him, because he's getting closer now. I can't quite see the gap, but is that 4/10?
Yeah, about 4 or 5 tenths of a second.
Yeah,
very close.
Doing a good job to stay behind as well. I mean, we're talking, this is quite a long track compared to the rest of them on the calendar. We got Brands Hatch Indy next, and that's a very short track. So, yeah, I think this one's going to provide the opportunity for drivers to learn the cars under racing conditions, and then they're going to have to sort of teach themselves again and relearn how to race even closer at the next round.
Yeah, they really are. These are, the cars are certainly giving the drivers a test. We've just seen Van Roon go past Depril once again. After a couple of off tracks, he's back up to 19th. Shelton still in 22nd position at the moment. Bantoli, Van Roon getting another move done there as well. Oh, and that's 2 cars sideways. That is Depril and Van Roon then, so they've made contact during that overtake, and they're both ended up facing the wrong way. So that's another 2 cars dropping down. I mean, we've still got 6 minutes of this race to go, Bailey, and then we've got a reverse order grid for 30 minutes in race number 2. I mean, Luke Southall may be happy he's 3.5 seconds up the road, but starting in 15th with these cars, that's going to be an interesting proposition for him in race number 2.
Yeah, it's going to be about biding your time, being patient, and also you just can't let the car control you. I mean, a lot of these drivers, probably practicing all these hours and they haven't spun, or they have spun a few times and they're thinking, you know, it's not going to catch me out in the race. I'm getting used to it now. And then you see how many cars have spun, and I think most of them have spun because of traction and, you know, just getting that little bit too much throttle, and away it goes.
Yeah, definitely. Very easy to light up those back tyres and the car facing in completely the wrong direction. At the moment, Andy Withers is the main winner here as he sees a deer. Oh, is he going to make that one? Oh, look at the extra pay. Oh, and why has that just happened? That was Wallering and Peter Brett having themselves a battle. I must have lent on the mouse there. Is Zabdir. He did get that move done on Andy Withers then. Wouldn't have been the easiest thing to do through that section of track in these cars. Although maybe it would have been actually with the extra downforce that these cars have got. I'd imagine through a couple of the corners. It's a far easier proposition than in a GT3 car. Peter Brett just been overtaken by Wallering, looking to catch back up. And James Rollins getting back into the hunt as well. He's back up to 12th place. So he's going to be starting near the front row of the grid. And in fact, with the pace that he's got, he's definitely closing in on Peter Brett, who's closing in on Wallering as well. 3.6 seconds now for Southall. Whitfit as well.
That's impressive.
Yeah, Whitfit as well. 3 seconds ahead of shoot.
Is that Rollins?
That was James Rollins.
Oh, and another.
And another car. That's Andy Withers.
Withers.
Wow, so Withers and Rollins then. Rollins was on an absolute charge there. And now finds himself back behind Zabdir, who himself is about to get a move on Malam. So he is currently down 9 positions. Beautiful move up the inside there. I don't think Malam perhaps put up too much of a battle. He'll have recognised that name from the front row of the grid and decided, yeah, you run your race, I'll run mine, and we'll see how it comes out at the end of the season. Brett still bothering Wallering. Let's jump on board. See that steering input in here, those engines absolutely roar. Withers is on the back of Depril. So far that's Baukenhout, Withers, Depril, Bagus, Jacobs. Rollins has been off a couple of times, Zabdir. Yeah, so a lot of the drivers opening race jitters, to say the least. We've got Coloured Ed in chat. Ian Egan's in the chat. Blatant Rage back in the chat. How we doing, old school? Good to see you. Paul Stinger in the chat as well. These cars are most definitely difficult. Yeah, understatement of the century. I was going to jump in and give them a quick shot just so I could give
Yeah, on board, and that just proves how hard these cars are.
That's a whole lot of steering input. If we jump on board, was a beer that we see just out of the same corner, all over that curve. He's going to go for one right up the inside, you would guesstimate. No, he's not. He's just going to hang in the slipstream
very
through
patient.
the village complex.
Smart move.
Opens up the corner, watch him nail this apex and get the cutback. Beautiful. Look at that exit speed. Goodness gracious me.
On a charge.
He really is. Phenomenal drive he's having. At the moment, I mean, it's damage limitation. He could have quite easily, it shows you the competitor he is, he could have quite easily just hung back in 14th place, knowing fine well that gives him front row of the grid for race number 2. And that would certainly be a big ask for the rest of the field to catch up and overtake. But he is going for as many points in race 1 as he can. We've got who's this? Lopez is closing in on straight-mans. He's slightly quicker through most of the course, so he is closing in about a tenth or so a lap, but there's only 1 minute 38 left to go. Luke Southall, so literally had 0 camera time so far. And he's not getting any more because the camera's moving on its own. But he has led comfortably Bailey from start to finish, and to get himself a 4.5 second gap over the rest of this field with the last lap to go, that really is a statement made for race number 1.
Yeah, he's won with the car currently, and it's quite good to see. You know, I'm surprised how just the variation of people. Like we basically opened the championship, and we've sort of gone, whoever wants to do it, you can do it. Let's go. And all these people have signed up. They've jumped on. They've practiced all these times, and there's a big gap now, 4 seconds, and Southall's gone. But don't forget, the battle behind is also so close. That means that it's going to be even harder for Southall to get through in the next race. And I think we're going to see a lot of battles in the next race. People are going to learn a lot from this first race as well, and it's going to be exciting. I'm very excited for how this championship goes, if this is what race 1 has provided.
Yeah, absolutely agree with that one. It is going to go right down to the wire, because second and third have got themselves a bit of a free pass in this one, was Abdir falling down the order. In fact, Lopez, I did say he was quicker than Straightmans, and he was making up a couple of tenths a lap, and that's 3 tenths he's made over the last lap. We better keep an eye on Mr. Luke Southall, see him crossing the line. But again, phenomenal race there. We potentially, Van Roon on Rawlings. And I tell you, that's a battle for 16th position. That shows you how lively the first 15 minutes of racing this season's been. These two are battling for 16th, which means they're going to start 16th and 17th, or 17th and 18th, sorry, in the next race with the format that we've got. But here is Southall.
Is there a battle for 15th, John?
There may well be a battle for 15th. There is confirmation. That is Southall taking the checkered flag. Yes, indeed, Malam. Oh, and he's off. He's off. Rollins and Van Roon both making up positions then. So Shelton is going to start on the front row of the grid in race number 2.
Well, provisionally. God knows what will happen.
Yeah, still got a race to go. Still got plenty of time to go. Luciano Whitvet is taking second place. Schubeck got himself onto the podium in race 1 with Strettemans in 4th. Lopez. Oh!
Wow.
Yeah, his race is
wow,
finished.
Wow, wow. I'd
So
love to see some.
Yeah, Creevy, Juzma, Kovacs, Leon Seeley up to 9th position then, Wallering in 10th. Brett got 11th, Abdir up to 12th, Kowaleski in 13th, Goer got 14th position. Here he is there. Sam Shelton 15th, so he's going to start in first place. James Rollins 16th. Van Roon, Ben Malam finishing 18th. Bortoli 19th. Jacobs got 20th, and then it was Withers, Depril, Baukenhout, and Simon Bagas bringing up the rear. 24 drivers finishing across the line. And clean sweep there for Southall in race number 1, Bailey. Took pole position in qualifying, won the race, and unsurprisingly took the fastest lap of the race by a quite convincing 7/10 of a second. Not bad.
Yeah, statement has been made. Race winner, pole sitter, fastest lap. He's done the triple, but it's not over yet. We've still got a race to go, and it's time to get the skills out the bag for all these drivers, trying to make up extra positions now to see where they can do something else in the championship.
Yes, indeed. And do that. So we've just got GP2 engine. GP2 engine. Yes, there's an X in there. GP2. Welcome along. Thank you very much for the follow here at SOP. Busey! I'm still here sometimes. I'm not forgetting you guys. Busey, I should hope not. We're certainly not forgetting you either, of course. Have I been removed from the server?
Uh-oh.
Let's just wait and see what happens there. Oh, no.
There you go.
We've got a 30-second warm-up.
So how long is this race, John?
So this race is 30 minutes.
Oh boy.
It is, as I say, it's a reverse order grid for the top 15. And everyone else gets to maintain their position. Big shout out again to sponsors Speedscents and MOZA Racing.
Shall we talk about some of the prizes?
Yes, go. Do you have the prizes there?
Well, I know what Speedscents are offering.
Go for it.
That was an incredible thing. Basically, we were able to grab VIP paddock passes for the final of the Praga Championship in Donington Park for the final. So you'll join me and Simon at Idola Motorsport with the driver Ruben and Speedscents, and we'll be able to sit in the garage, watch the race, sit in the car. I got to sit in the actual Praga car, which was very cool. And the winner of the series will be able to join us, and it'll be a very good way to celebrate your win. And MOZA offering one of their wheels.
They are indeed. They're providing a complete R5 direct drive bundle with wheelbase, steering wheels, and pedal set.
Oh boy!
Indeed.
Oh boy.
And on top of that, for every driver that completes every race in the championship, there will be a raffle to win 50 quid. Not bad at all.
Not bad at all.
Yeah, so it is, just to elaborate on that, we will do a bit more quickly at the end of the race, but it is a full VIP package to Donington as part of the Idola team. As Bailey says, you get to sit in the car, you get to sit on the pit wall, you get to be in the garage during the race.
Meet the driver.
Yeah, meet the driver. You get to sit in the car. You get to sit in one of these cars. Incredible stuff. Sam Shelton, he's got an incredible opportunity after contact on race number 1. He takes the green lights to lead the way in race number 2. Gore and Kowaleski close in behind. Straightman's making movements already. Leon Seeley shooting up through the field as well. Oh, multiple cars spinning. It's Zabdir again. It is Zabdir once again. Absolutely no luck whatsoever. We're still seeing a lot of cars moving. I cannot jump on board. Zabdir is down at the back of the field. Andy Withers is back in the pit box. Zabdir, championship contender, right out of the running at the start of race number 2. A long way to go though, with the reverse order grid. Straightman's involved in the battles as well here. Rollins now up in the 8th position. Shelton still leading the way with Gore. Still firmly attached to his rear spoiler. Kowaleski and Peter Brett there in 4th. Luciano Whitfit already up to 5th position with Wallering in 6th. Kovacs in 7th. Rawlings in 8th. And Emmanuel Lopez just being overtaken going side by side with Straightman's potentially. On at the back straight, they are trading positions. Rawlings and Southall. Luke and James going side by side. Oh, and it's South. Oh, and he's collected Schubeck there, I believe it was. He's tumbled down the order. Oh, it may even have been Marcus Juzma. Oh, whoever it was managed to do a 360 and keep going. Phenomenal stuff. Gore now dropping down the order. He is off track. Luciano Whitfit already back up to 3rd position then. Peter Brett now in 2nd, but he's got Luciano Whitfit all over the back of him. As you can see, he's actually on the inside line there. Whitfit and Brett, that's Brett we're on board with. He's now in 2nd. He's now back up in the 3rd, down to 3rd. Nope, he's in 2nd position as him and Whitfit go side by side. Brett takes the first apex on. There's more side by side action in the background as Kovacs and Emmanuel Lopez getting involved in some action as well. The back of the car looked like it completely let go there, but it definitely did not. Straightman's still well and truly in that fight. Schubeck all over the back of Kowaleski as well. And race 1 winner. Where is Southall?
He's down at the bottom, John. He got spun.
Oh, so he did.
Spun. I didn't quite see it, but he was the car going backwards, John.
Right, okay.
For a bit in cops. Yeah. So he got tangled up and dropped down quite a bit, but all I can think is this is going to make him want to win even more now after that. I think he's going to make a move already.
Oh yeah, we've missed an overtake for the lead of the race. Luciano Whitfit's now leading yet. Sam Shelton has been overtaken. Luciano Whitfit now leading the way. Very quickly getting that done. The cameraman obsessed with the back end of the pit wall. What's going on with that? Emmanuel Lopez going side by side with Wallering. Oh, and he's let go on that outside line. That is going to be a warning. He's going to get a point for that. Yes, indeed. And Lopez will cruise into the front after his opponent gets the slowdown penalty. Southall on Gore, Cravey on Van Roon. Van Roon involved in a lot of action in race number 1 as well. Kowaleski looking to hang on to the lead group. It's James Rollins just ahead of him. And Leon Seeley closing in just behind. Cravey is involved in some action here as well. On the back of Van Roon. In fact, Marcus Jusmo going side by side in the background. So too Luke. Oh, it's Luke Southall that he's going side by side with Southall up the inside. Another very quick overtake there. He really is carving his way through the field here, Bailey. No messing about.
Yeah, but he's gotta be a bit more patient. I think I can't actually see the clock, John. But
25 minutes.
25. Yeah, 25 minutes is a long time. So I think just everyone just a bit more patience, and the race will start coming to them. I mean, these cars are just incredibly hard to drive. I think even the slightest of touches are sending these cars around. We see a move.
Oh, Schubeck up the inside.
Yeah, brilliant move.
Absolute brilliant move. In fact, it's a double overtake as Rollins, I believe, just made his way through there as well.
He did, and that's the thing. I think these reminded me a bit like karting. These guys are so closely matched that if someone makes a move and there's a gap, 2 or 3 cars are going with them, and that's when contact's made, and that's when we're seeing cars go around. But I think that's what makes these so fun to watch, and the racing so incredibly entertaining.
Yeah, it really is, and more entertaining racing on its way as Kovacs is trying to follow Rollins through, and Stratemans as well. In fact, I think he and Wallering still going out. Oh, he's not. Oh, and he's really run wide there. Slow down penalty for track limit violations. And I'll tell you whose name we've not seen for track limit violations. Luciano Whitvet. He's already 2.3. In fact, he's 3 seconds ahead of Sam Shelton. That is quite the flying start. He's got Peter Brett looking good in 3rd position, trying to defend from Emmanuel Lopez. In fact, Lopez right over the back of him. They're absolutely side by side. You can just see the front wheels of Brett there on the inside. He peers across the windscreen there on the exit of the corner. And this is the type of racing you can absolutely enjoy when these cars are giving out the grip. But it is just finding that grip, isn't it? But it's like, oh, look at that move up the inside. Goes for the cutback, and that is phenomenal there by Lopez. Brett, no means out of this one at all as he comes straight back into the slipstream, Bailey, and coming into Village. It's definitely game on between these two for the final podium position.
It's bumper to bumper racing, this is. And all I can think about is how the real championship only has about 5 teams, unfortunately. And just seeing all these cars racing is quite entertaining to watch. And it is bumper to bumper. They're so closely matched. And I'll just say this, the skill level to keep these cars on the road and to keep them consistently and top speed and good times is very challenging. And these drivers are proving that it's difficult, but they're doing a good job of getting through it. And I'm just looking, I think it's that Simon Baggas in 14th, Luke Southall in 13th now.
Yes, it absolutely is. Southall then back up to 13th position. So he started in 15th, dropped down the order, and now finds himself back again. The cameraman absolutely obsessed with the back of the pit wall. There we go.
I think a bit of team tactics there between Seeley and Southall as he goes through.
Well, Seeley slowed down for track limit. I tell you what, that GT3 turn 1 really is catching the drivers out.
Yeah. Cobbs is such a fast corner when you're entering it in a Praga. And I did jump in a Praga 4 at Silverstone not so long ago, and it's Cobbs that catches you out, and turn 1.
Oh, Lopez and Shelton. Sorry, Lopez and Shelton. This is the battle for... I thought Brett had come back up to Lopez, but this is a battle for 2nd place. Lopez. And I tell you, Peter Brett, we were talking about him battling for the podium. Wallerman, Strateman and Schubeck are absolutely got something to say about that. If you look on board with Schubeck, you can see just how close... Oh, right out on the exit there for Strateman. How does he hang on to that? I've only driven an F4 over that curb and that gave me the fear. I can't even imagine how terrifying an experience that was. on his way into the village complex. So we're effectively going to call this a 6-way battle for second position, as Lopez has gotten himself into second place. Oh, has a big look up the inside. And when we say big look, that was a full Postman Pat send there.
Yeah.
Licked that stamp and absolutely sent it. But over the wing of Lopez, Bailey, look at the difference already he's got. Now that he's caught up and got himself into second, 1.5 seconds up the road from the battling pack. And Sam Shelton, he's got a Peter Brett up his inside, and he's got a Lucas Wallering getting involved as well. Schubeck's just been given a slow-down penalty behind Straightmans. That could save Straightmans for a few more corners, but I don't think it's going to be that many more. As we can see, Peter Brett still chasing down Sam Shelton, while Lucas Wallering
Baggers falling down.
Baggers, yeah, slow-down penalty that was. Round the outside the club. Cops, of course. I'm not allowed to name it after the Dutch guy anymore.
Yeah.
After he tried to murder a fellow Formula 1 driver. Which he clearly did. No, of course it was a racing incident. Wallering, no racing incidents. You need to be careful these days. But look at Schubeck. He's going to need to be careful as well. He is very, very quick indeed, but he's picking up penalties. He's already caught back up after getting that penalty. He's made it up 6 positions. And there's Lopez getting a slow down. Schubeck getting another slow down penalty. And he really is going to have to be careful with that. Still 19 minutes left to go. You don't want the gap increasing ahead of you because you're trying to keep a few millimetres on the track limits. Wallering all over the back of Brett now. And look how close he is getting the ball, this esports driver. It's just as Bailey was saying, absolute bumper to bumper action. They physically could not get themselves any closer through the village complex there, and on the exit Wallering's got to be thinking that through Cops, or at least on the exit to Cops into Maggots and Beckett, that could be a good time to have a look at this one. Not really the opposite force on. You go, Bailey?
No, I was just going to say, as this battle rages on, it's actually allowing Lopez to gain quite a lot on first, I believe.
Yeah, it's bringing Straightmans right back into it as well. As you can see, he's still hanging in at the back of this battle as well.
There's something going on with first, actually, John, because I swear the gap was 5 seconds, and now it seems to be half a second. Sorry.
7 seconds.
Oh, it's 7 seconds.
7.2, yeah.
I can't quite see it.
Yeah, just look a bit blurry, yeah.
Get the glasses on.
Oh, yeah, don't. I spend all day looking for them on the
yeah,
head.
7 seconds.
Yeah. So 7.4, so they are penalty for Simon. Wallering showed the outside, went back to the inside, goes back to the outside, the cameraman. And he's lost it through club.
Yeah.
And he's going to tumble down the order then. Leon Seeley, I think, is going to just about get caught up to him as well.
I think so. Well, they're definitely in a battle now, put it that way.
Yeah, definitely. So, back to Luke Southall then. Back up to 8th position and about to put in... Oh no, that's Shelton. Shelton and Rollins ahead. So, Shelton down from 1st to 7th. And that is Southall going, 3 wide. On the way to the village. More bumper to bumper. No contact there again. Luke Southall. 3 positions through 2. That's a big spin for Rollins. Rollins on the exit to the village. And he is facing the wrong way. And behind Southall, Shelton and Kovacs are going side by side. But what a drive by Luke Southall. Started 15th, went down to 23rd. He's now back up to 6th position. 3.2 seconds ahead is Schubeck, who we've seen likes to pick up a penalty or two. And definitely needs to drop that habit now that he's got Southall closing in on him. If he's going to do anything, he needs to get past Peter Brett first, of course.
Yeah.
Brett, most definitely, safe to say, might be fairly new to race room Bailey, but when it comes to out-and-out racing, there's definitely not green behind the ears as Peter Brett. He is solid on track, can defend, can overtake, and can seriously put a good lap in as well.
Yeah, he's not. Oh, is that one of the top runners spinning out? I believe so. There was someone in the gravel.
Oh,
there,
Lopez.
Yeah, Lopez, who was second.
Wow.
Has dropped. And so where is he now? Is he?
Paukenhout's dropped. 6th position.
Wow. So now Peter Brett, who's now just been overtaken by Schubeck. And back again. Big battle. Big battle for him, John.
Massive battle then. Peter Brett does finally succumb to Schubeck then. Just as we're talking about how well he can defend, Schubeck clearly knows how to make an overtake stick. That's the view he now sees. Lopez. And I tell you what, interestingly enough, it's Luke Southall. He's got ahead of him, Bailey.
Yeah.
So if you want someone in front of you, just like you were talking, these cars, the go-karts, looking for the space to go zipping through with 2 cars. For Emmanuel Lopez, this could be a blessing in disguise, considering he's got the slipstream of the fastest man on track to now guide them potentially back onto the podium.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can tell you right now, I don't think Brett will be given much of a battle to Southall, being they are teammates. And I believe Southall is going to, don't get me wrong, I believe, is there 15 minutes left?
Yes, yeah, there is. Yeah, 15 minutes to go. Yep.
So Southall's now got 15 minutes, exactly how he had in the first race, to now go from 5th and see where he can get, because he's clearly got pace in that car. I'm not sure what the fastest lap is, and do we get to see that now? But yeah, he's closing in, isn't he? That's all right. That's all right. He's closing in on Brett, but Brett is not giving up on fighting for that 3rd position. So the more that cars battle, Luke's going to start bringing himself closer and closer to that podium position. Just looking further down the field, Vargas, DNF. Wow. Oh. They swap positions, don't they? It's not over yet, though, as they come down the Wellington Straight. I think Brett is going to be the one. Oh, he's going to slot in behind. No, he's going to be brave on the brakes, potentially. Yes, it looks like it. But he's got the outside now for one of the longest turns on the track is in left field, and he just slots in tidy behind him before heading down to Copse. Close. Yet again, running away. Wow. Yeah. Totally. Yeah. Yeah, totally agree. I think if you can do that in these cars and then not have the best race, then I think the next rounds are where you're going to try and improve. And maybe the mistakes weren't any of his fault, but I think a lot of these drivers are going to learn now that racing side by side in these Pragas is very hard. And we actually have a guest in the comments box. I haven't not noticed you, Simon, but if you are there, are you able to give us some insight on how difficult these cars are to drive? But he might not be there, I'm not too sure. That's alright. He's there, he's not there.
Excuse me, yeah, hopefully you can hear me now, sorry. Slightly different broadcasting protocol, shall we say, when I'm doing race stream, so slightly different audio setup, so my mic is going to get in here. Plus I do like to think. But at the moment it is still Peter Brett once again looking to do the defensive work, and it is another Ballas Esports driver, Veal Creevy, who is applying the pressure. Another quick driver around this track, going to be one to watch in the championship as well. Marcus Juzma trying to make back some positions, 5 down where he started in this race. After a good race one, he's got 2 drivers just ahead of him in Kovacs and Rawlings. Can certainly benefit from the slipstream and find himself with a decent overtake. The top 3 though, or the 3 drivers outside after first place, Stratemans, Schubeck and Southall, now getting very close indeed, with Schubeck all over the back of Stratemans. 9 minutes left to go. Are we going to see Schubeck get himself into second? What do we think, Bailey? I mean, Luke Southall, unbelievably quick. Can he catch Whitfit before the end? I mean, getting Schubeck and Stratemans, you would think at this point, got to be job done within the next lap or 2. No disrespect to the rest of the drivers involved in that, but Southall has shown himself to be otherworldly in these cars after race number 1, and the pace he's shown here in race number 2 to catch up. But 17 seconds to get to Whitfit over 8 minutes. This could be a bit of a gift for Whitfit here in the first round.
Yeah, after Lopez had his spin just through Chapel,
Brett's
the gap
away.
between...
Sorry, just pointing out there, Peter Brett's off track. He's just lost 2 positions, but we'll keep on board with this battle up here in Southall.
Yeah, I was just saying that after Lopez span in just outside of Chapel into the gravel, the gap between first and second shot up, and it was 15 seconds, now it's 17 seconds. He's 17 seconds clear of second place. Southall, on the other hand, is just watching this battle brew for second, and that's just going to entice him even more, and he's just going to just be patient, because I think he knows that he's got this pace. He's just got to wait for that moment. And going back to what I said earlier, I think if if Schubeck makes a move on Streitzman's, I think Southall's going to try and get through that gap. Similar to in karting, if one makes a move, they all go through. I think that's what we're going to start see happening very, very shortly as they come down the Wellington Straight.
Yeah, I think so. As you can see, they're getting very, very, very close indeed. Southall definitely going to be eyeing up that double overtake. As you can see, that's Schubeck trying to go round the outside then. Southall trying to join them then, but nothing doing. Through Luffield again, right on that rear spoiler. The exhaust of Schubeck's cars will be melting the front off the Southall's. Into Pop's corner. Southall got his choice, and look at that, straight up the inside, the double slipstream gets the move done on Schubeck then. Schubeck now will be looking surely to follow Southall through. As you can see, right under that rear spoiler on the way to Maggots and Beckett's then, backs right out of it as he rides that curve. Lucas Wallering picking up a penalty. He is a bit further down the order, 7th position. At the moment, Luke Southall back up to 3rd place, Bailey, and 6.5 minutes left to go. If you were a betting man, you'd have money on Southall getting himself the second tier. Just incredible scene so far.
Yeah, I mean, that move into Cops, I think that proves he knows he's quick. He knows he can race these cars. I can imagine him smiling and thinking, you know, yeah, I won the first race. I had an issue in the second race, but I'm sat in third here quite comfortably looking at the rear exhaust of second place. Doesn't really matter where first is because that will happen in the future for Southall. But I think his target, his main man, is in front of him, and I don't think he's going to be waiting around. And he's definitely putting the pressure on him, but he has got pressure from behind. Thank you for making that perfect switch of camera, John. He's got pressure from behind. They haven't let him go. Schubeck has not let him go, and Schubeck's now doing the job of what Southall was doing, and Southall couldn't make the move. Down the inside. That's it. But Schubeck looking to try and grab third position, I think. It's not over. Definitely not over yet between these three.
Yeah, no, definitely not. 5 more minutes of this to go. Southall, and I'll tell you, that gap was about 14 seconds, so Streitmans may have been feeling the pressure and dropping pace slightly to Whitfit, but when he started feeling the pressure, he definitely picked up that pace. That gap was 14, 15 seconds. It's now down to 12. So
yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, so he managed to really get the foot down there when he really needed to. Oh, and Schubeck picks up another slow down penalty. That's his third or fourth. It doesn't sound like a lot, but you look at that gap now open up. That's a lot of work he's got to do to catch back up then. Southall within 11 seconds of Luciano Whitfit, who is comfortably out in the front. Maybe not quite so comfortable now. We know Southall's trying to chase him down, but it does look like it's going to be Schubeck with another slow down penalty advisory there. I tell you, you could very easily lose out on a podium if he gets this one wrong. Really needs to adhere to his track because he's quicker than Streitmans ahead. All due respect to Streitmans, it's safe to say that Schubeck is the quicker of the two drivers at the moment.
Yeah, and he's keeping the pressure on, isn't he? But yeah, don't discount Streitmans. He's doing a good job. He didn't defend too hard against Southall, but don't forget when this battle was brewing just before, he was the one starting to weave on the back of the hanger straight, trying to break the toe. So he's up for a battle, and he knows how to do it. And I think he's not going to let Schubeck get past him too easily because these two have been going at it for a while now, and Southall's just edging ahead further and further. He's got that open track now, just to go for it for the next 3 minutes. It's like a hot quality lap for him, with potentially some back markers ahead, but this battle is brewing, and there is a defensive move being made by Streitmans, and Schubeck looking for the switchback.
Sorry, we've jumped on board with Marcus Jusma actually.
Oh, Usman, sorry.
Round the outside of Luffield potentially. No, Rollins manages to gather that one up on the apex. Keeps it just in front for 13th position. No reverse order grid for another race. We've done the 15 minutes. Phenomenal format as well, but it has to be said in the closing 3 minutes. The format for this one,
yes,
very good indeed.
Yeah, it's proven to work very well and very enjoyable to commentate and watch. And hopefully for the drivers, it's not been too demanding on them. These cars are just ridiculous, though. I think 15 minutes and a 30-minute race separate is the way to go. And that 15-minute sprint sort of showed us a bit of an insight of how this championship will go. And then you had the start of the 30-minute straight with a bit of chaos, and Luke Southall sort of planted himself in and proving to us that he really wants to try and win this race and maybe the championship.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would definitely say championship aspirations well and truly declared there. Making his way back as he has up into second place, so that is going to be an almost maximum points haul. You would imagine he's going to be on for he did take the fastest lap in race number 1. doesn't hold it at the moment. That currently belonging to Luciano Whitvet.
I just say, big credit to these two racing. Is absolutely incredible to watch. He is defending now. Like I said, he's defending hard against Schubeck. He doesn't want to lose that third position. Don't forget, I believe Streitmann's took third from Schubeck, right? And they've swapped back and forth a few times, or they've been in a battle, bumper to bumper battle for a long time. And he didn't really try and defend against Southall. And back to what you said earlier about drivers maybe sort of race your race. I know where I am in the championship. I know where I am with this car. You go ahead. I'm going to try and do my own stuff. And yet again, Streitmann's weaving on the back straight of the hanger straight, trying to break that toe from Schubeck. And they're not going to enjoy it currently because there's going to be a lot of stress and thinking about how to get the move done. But Schubeck is going to think back at this and think, wow, what a battle this was. And there's going to be good things to come, I think, in the championship between these two.
Yeah, most definitely. As you say, they've got a lot of short courses to come. Brands Hatch Indy, yeah. Stowe Circuit is the long circuit, the Silverstone National. Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit slightly longer, and then Donington. Simon and his Donington. He does like to put the drivers through it, doesn't he? Luciano Whitvet then. It does look like I say he's going to get the fastest lap of the race. He's got an 11-second lead, so Southall has closed. But not by much, about a second since he got that second place. We can see Kowaleski and Wallering swapping positions in the background. I'm scared to look away in case we miss him across the line, but lots of action along the Hamilton straight then. But we will stay on board with the winner of the round one feature race. It is Luciano Whitvet. Took a podium in the 15-minute sprint race, so started on row number 7. In race number 2, and he now finds himself with an 11.8 second lead. Oh, James Rollins picking up a cheeky slowdown there towards the end as well. 4 drivers unable to finish. Wallering and Kowaleski still going side by side. Schubeck looking very lively indeed on the back of Straightman's in the closing stages. He really does want back onto this podium.
I feel a send, John, into Stowe.
Oh, Wallering's been DQ'd.
Oh.
Lucas Wallering has just been... So's Leon Seeley.
Oh.
Wow. 4 drivers have been able to finish and 2 have been disqualified for in-game incident points. Too many track cuts.
Wow.
And that is DQ'd Seeley and Lucas Wallering. One of the championship protagonists.
And that so they've got over 30 then. Basically.
Correct. Oh, and we've missed Whitvet taking the checkered flag. Apologies, Luciano, but he has won it. Congratulations for Ballas Esport. Luciano Whitvet getting it done, 156.6. So Luke Southall back onto the podium in race number 2. Despite being down as low as 23rd at one point, and it is Victor Straightmans who has held off the advances of Schubeck to take 3rd place. Amazing battle between those two. Emmanuel Lopez as well. Phenomenal race 1. Gets himself into 5th in race number 2. Creevy in 6th, Shelton in 7th, Kowaleski in 8th, James Rollins in 9th, and Yanis Kovacs rounding out the top 10. Marcus Dewsman got 11th, Peter Brett in 12th, Bikenhout, despite late contacts race 1 and early contacts race 2, 13th place. Gore, Depril and Malam finishing 14th, 15th and 16th. Jacobs and Bortoli bringing up 17th and 18th. Seeley and Wallering DQ'd right at the end, Bailey. Non-stop action. Start to finish.
That was very fun to watch and commentate on. And yeah, what a way to open the championship. These guys are really wanting to win this, I think. It's not about winning races currently. I feel like people are definitely trying to make a statement ahead of the championship. And there's a few names to watch. Definitely. Yeah,
I would say so. Absolutely on the money. And yeah, what is it they are racing for? The prizes. Well, first off, big shout out and thank you to our sponsors, of course. I'll tell you what, we'll have a quick rundown of the results. I was waiting on those to come up. But it is confirmation there. Whitvit and off Southall did take the fastest lap on the last lap with a 1:56.533. How was that for competitive? So Whitvit takes the top spot. Southall second. Straightman's in third. Schubeck, Lopez and Creevy fourth, fifth and sixth. Sam Shelton bringing it home in seventh with Janis Kowaleski finishing in eighth. It was Rollins and Kovacs 9th and 10th. Dewsma and Brett 11th and 12th. Buckenhout and Gore 13th and 14th. DePrell, Malam and Jacobs finishing 15th, 16th and 17th. Bortoli finishing in 18th position. Baggis, Van Roon, Zardier and a couple of other drivers there. Not making it to the end. As I was saying, this was round one. Championship sponsor Speedscents are an aspiring brand of air fresheners catering to car enthusiasts, providing aesthetically leading designs and fragrant scents for you to enjoy your drives to the max. Speedscents are just one of the series title partners, and you can get a 10% discount at checkout using our unique code SOP10, that's SOP10, when purchasing any Speedscents products. And if you want your car smelling fresh, we strongly recommend the Series 1 Mix. Another sponsor as well, MOZA Racing. Born for sim racers, MOZA Racing is dedicated to designing and building the world's best sim racer focused hardware and software products that enable everyone to race at their very best. The full ecosystem includes direct drive, force feedback steering wheels, aluminium alloy pedal assembly, digital dash and pit house control software. And thanks to those sponsors, we have some incredible prizes for this series. Speedscents are providing a VIP day out to Donington to the Praga Cup. You will be a guest of the Idola racing team. You get to sit in the car, you get to sit in the garage during the race, meet the drivers, meet the team, the full package. And MOZA Racing are providing an R5 direct drive base, pedals and steering wheel. And for every driver that takes part in every single round, you'll be entered into a prize raffle to win £50. Phenomenal stuff. So yeah, Bailey, great start to the season, great championship, great prizes. Yeah, great things ahead for this one.
Yeah, definitely. This is one to watch. Honestly, nothing like this currently, and it's proven it today that it can be a little bit chaotic. But the drivers have got a lot to learn, and they've learned it all in the last 45 minutes. I think. I'll have a chat with a few drivers later on and see what they said about how the car handles, because I'm only coming from experience in a hot lap setting, but doing the race, I wonder if the cars were starting to slide, lose a bit of grip, and I think having that no setup change and having that fixed setup has really meant that the drivers who are going to practice and put the time and effort into it are the ones who are going to come closer to the top. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely, and we will be here to see it all. Phenomenal. So big thank you to Bailey joining us in the comedy box this evening. Hopefully a lot more of that to come. Big thanks to Busey, who subscribed 13 months. Unlucky for some, but not for us, my good man. Not to forget, don't worry, I'm not forgetting you guys, he said. And GP Engine, who was racing tonight. I did see in the chat, I'm racing right now, that was carnage. Yeah, those cars are a handful. So yeah, thank you very much for the follow and for taking part. Thanks to the drivers that took part as well, of course. Thanks to everyone in the chat. Kieran Clifford, I didn't see your name, it was the same colour as two other people, so I didn't know. Blatant Rage in the chat. Wiz Motorsport, I didn't even, goodness me, so many people that I didn't notice. My apologies. I'll be getting my books, Van Roon's in the chat as well. So to Ian Egan, who should have been out on track, but he wasn't. We won't hold it against you, Ian. I'm not saying I'm now currently typing your name to put up in the window, but yeah, I'm putting your name up in the window. But yeah, so there we go. That is all from us. We're going to go and raid a very good friend of mine. Unlike myself, this person can really, really, really drive. Up at the top end in race room, and he's now looking to conquer the R Factor 2 world as well. So we'll jump over and see my good friend Jixer. Massive thank you, of course, to MOZA and to Speedscents for sponsoring it. Phenomenal prizes for the drivers. And hopefully we will see you again for round number 2 next week, which is, of course, the Brands Hatch Indy Circuit. Oh yeah, that final turn in these Pragas, Bailey.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yes, indeed it is. Indeed it is. But from everyone here at SOP, thank you very much indeed for joining in. And it's a good night from Bailey.
Good night, Bailey.
And it's a good night from me. Good night.
That was sweet. Sweet, 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 sweet.
Nice one, guys. Thanks for that.
Ah,
Hello.
bonjour.
What a terrible outing for me.
Tell me what happened, Simon. Tell me what happened. Let it out.
Well, race 1.